welcome back to another video. Today we are discussing the top 8 science fiction films that you have to watch before you die. So without wasting much more time, let's begin. Number 8. Wall-E. Set in the 29th century is this animated movie where the earth has become lackluster and a complete wasteland. To clean up the waste on earth, humanity has left behind a robot, which is Wall-E. It is also the last robot on earth. Mesmerized by the trinkets of earth's history and show tunes, Wall-E is all alone with his pet cockroach. One fine day, a spaceship lands on earth, and out of it comes Eva, another robot sent from space by humans to scan the remains of earth. And then guess what? Wall-E and Eve fall in love with each other and set out to Axiom, where the rest of the humans are living in space. Ultimately, they embark on an adventure where the love of Wall-E makes him follow Eve across the darks of galaxy. With incredible animation and hard-hitting storylines, this Pixar film goes on a completely different route than traditional science fiction movies, and it absolutely rules. The emotions we feel as we watch these two so-called lifeless creatures fall in love with each other is absolutely stunning, which is also complemented by the phenomenal orchestral music that plays throughout the movie, especially the track from Hello Dolly, which fits so well. Overall, this sci-fi romantic drama is one of the finest Pixar films ever made, in my opinion, and an absolute feast for science fiction enthusiasts. Also, this film has won an Oscar for the best animated feature film in 2009. So yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Number 7. Blade Runner 2049. Famous director Denis Villeneuve, who has received a lot of fame for directing the recently super hit Dune franchise, is also the director of Blade Runner 2049. No one expected a sequel of the cult classic Ridley Scott's Blade Runner, which is by the way also a great science fiction film as well. But Denis, as always, brings a masterpiece to the audience, which arguably is one of the most reputed post-apocalyptic films made. The story picks up 30 years after the timeline of the original film in 2049, where Blade Runner K, played by none other than Ryan Gosling, is ordered to hunt down a child replicant to prevent an upcoming war. Our emotionless protagonist has to go through many interesting characters, which includes the OG character of Harrison Ford from the original Blade Runner movie. Jared Leto as the antagonist absolutely dominates every time he comes on screen. And of course, this is a Denis Villeneuve movie. It obviously happens to have some beautiful frames and some of the most gorgeous cinematographies seen in recent times, for which it also won an Oscar. I mean, just look at these visuals. They are stunning. Although when this film was released, it was a box office failure, but thanks to the internet, this film has received a cult status and is now ranked higher than the original movie itself. This This so-called sci-fi movie transcends beyond the genre and tries something new. And how can we forget the brilliant music by Hans Zimmer throughout the movie, which is something we're going to hear quite a few more times in this video. The 164-minute long runtime is definitely a bit dragged out and could have been cut short, but apart from that, a great watch in my opinion. Number 6. Source Code. Time loop, a concept which has been explored so many times in cinema, like Predestination, Edge of Tomorrow, Looper, and so many movies. But one film which is supremely underrated, and according to me is probably a film which explains the concept of time loop in the best way, is 2011's Jake Gyllenhaal starrer Source Code. Army soldier Captain Stevens wakes in a train in someone else's body and finds out that he is stuck in a time loop. After exactly 8 minutes, the train blows up and he gets respawned again at the same exact time 8 minutes earlier at the same exact location. This keeps going on and on until he realizes that he is stuck in a forever time loop, and now to survive, his only mission is to find the bomber of that train to get out of the time loop. Now, is he able to find the bomber at the end? And what exactly is happening to him? To get the answer to all those questions, watch the movie itself. This short 93 minutes film does not waste any of your time and quickly picks up pace and keeps you till the edge of the seat till the movie ends. We as the audience are as confused as a protagonist, and we also find things out as he is. And when the reveal finally comes, what exactly was going on all along, it absolutely blows your mind. The story is very gripping and the entire time loop concept hooks you till the end. That entire feel of having a race against time is maintained throughout the movie. Jake Gyllenhaal's performance as the confused and innocent army soldier who has no idea what is going on is really good. And overall, this film is also an enjoyable watch, especially for those who like to watch time loop movies. Number 5. 12 Monkeys. Finally, my favorite genre of science fiction, which is time travel, a concept which is so popular that there are hundreds of movies and series and books on it. This trend of time travel movies was started by Back to the Future in the 1980s, but no one knew that this trend will hold so strong even in modern cinema. Now, of course, there are many movies on this topic. Primer, Predestination, Back to the Future, Butterfly Effect, Tomorrow War, Terminator, Endgame, blah blah blah. But a movie of this genre which is so underrated that most of you haven't even heard of it, despite of having Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt in it, is 12 Monkeys. This 1996 movie is set in the cyberpunk future, where our protagonist Cole is a prisoner and he is given the responsibility to save the world from a disease which destroyed humanity. In order to do that, he has to go back in time and find the origin of this virus and stop it from spreading. This film is really unpredictable, especially the beginning, where for the first 30 minutes you will be questioning that what the hell is going on, because it takes place in a mental asylum. But as soon as the story progresses and everything starts to make sense, you realize how great the plot is. The ending of the film, without any spoilers, is quite anticlimactic. This super underrated movie, in my opinion, definitely deserves more attention by movie lovers because this film gets everything right. Even the entire concept of 12 monkeys, a group of revolutionists who by the way spread the virus in the first place, was really well explained. There is also a 2014 web series with the same name, but I personally haven't seen that. But looking at the synopsis, it looks like it is based on the movie itself. Number 4. Arrival. Denis Villeneuve strikes back with another masterpiece. But this time, instead of a dystopian apocalyptic future, we are dealing with aliens. Now, this film, I absolutely love it, and here's why. First of all, it deals with an alien invasion storyline, which, by the way, is another genre in itself because so many movies have been made on this: Independence Day, Alien, Alien Romulus, and so many more. And they are commercial blockbusters. But what would happen if these aliens are not shown in a negative light, but instead as a species which is seeking the help of humans to protect them? Then we get Arrival, a film which has a simple one-liner plot. Aliens are coming on Earth with their levitating space pods, and scientists are trying to communicate with these extraterrestrial species to find out what exactly are the motivations. Simple, right? And the story is simple until we get to the last 20 minutes of this movie, where we are hit with a big reveal, and then our brain starts to hurt, and when the film ends, we are absolutely clueless of what exactly happened. And then we watch this film again to realize what this film was actually trying to say from the very beginning. This film is not something which can be easily understood in the first watching, because this might be a science fiction movie, but some of its concepts and themes are relating to our lives and how linear they are, how inferior we humans actually are to a superior race that might exist. I know this sounds confusing, but these concepts while watching the film hit so hard that you start questioning everything around you. Once again, this is a Denis Villeneuve movie, so the cinematography, well, see it for yourself. Number 3. Interstellar. Honestly, it would be a crime to make a list of top science fiction movies and not have this movie in it. I was initially going to exclude it because it is a super popular movie and most people have seen it. But still, for those 5 people who live under a rock and haven't seen this, this is for them. In all ways, this is an all-out Christopher Nolan movie. I genuinely can talk about the science of this film for hours if I had to. But for now, to keep it short, let's discuss the story. The story is set in a dying world, where almost everything is coming to an end. The only harvest that remains is of corn. Now our hero Mr. Cooper here is sent on a mission to find a new planet which can support human life. For this, he has to search many planets, which includes going into a wormhole to visiting a planet near Gargantua black hole. Will these explorers find a home for the human race, or will humanity go extinct? Watch this film to know. Now, this film is no joke, because genuinely to understand the concepts of this film, you need to have the brain of a scientist. Like, quite literally, some of the science shown in this film is so bonkers yet so accurate that you don't believe it. The accuracy maintained in the film is literally surprising, and it had to be, because the Nobel Prize winning scientist Kip Thorne was actually hired as a scientific advisor during the writing of this film, just to make sure that they get the physics right. This film gets so accurate that the black hole shown in the movie is somehow really close to the black hole in real life. And by the way, the first image of the real life black hole was released 5 years after this film was released. So you can understand how much effort was given just to make sure the science goes right. And now that we're talking about black holes, how can we forget the visual effects? This film is a visual feast, and some of its frames are nothing but simply cinematic and awesome, for which it did win an Oscar. The music is given by none other than legendary composer Hans Zimmer, who has absolutely killed it once again. The science, the music, the cinematography, the acting, everything in this film is nothing but a cultural phenomena. And I'm looking forward to make a detailed science dissection video on this film itself. Overall, epic. Number 2. The Martian. This 2015 film starring Matt Damon is a story about an astronaut who was sent to a manned mission to Mars. But after a fierce storm on the planet, he goes missing, leading to the other team members to presume that he is dead and they go back to Earth. But in reality, he had survived the storm and now was left behind, stranded all alone on Mars. Now his only mission is his survival on this hostile planet until he receives any help from his earthly friends, that too with limited food supplies. This survival story is brilliant because we see our main character use some ingenious science techniques to make it till the next scheduled Mars mission, which is 4 years later. Being a botanist himself, he is able to cultivate food on Mars. But will this Martian ever go back home? Well, that time will tell. The scientifically accurate depiction of Mars and its atmosphere and the phenomenal acting by lead actor Matt Damon are the pillars of this film. No wonder he was nominated for the Best Actor at the Oscars for this movie. This film is more of a light-hearted science fiction movies because here instead of dealing with aliens, human extinction and apocalypse, we are dealing with a one-man story and the stakes are quite personal, just like WALL-E. The movie might be a bit stereotypical with its emotional setting, but still, it manages to touch the audience's hearts at crucial moments. Overall, a good watch. And finally, number 1, Kalki 2890. Just kidding. Number 1, The Matrix. Oh my goodness, this film is regarded as a classic in science fiction genre by the pop culture fans. And why shouldn't it be? A film released in 1999 but still has shockingly modern concepts and ways of storytelling. On surface level, it looks like another Hollywood action movie, but when seen carefully, you start to see the weird and bonkers concepts of this film. The entire concept is based on humans living under a simulation, and everything we see around us is not real, but a computer-generated world, and we are just mere characters of this world. This is a film which will make you question your own reality after you complete watching it. The cultural impact of this film is so crazy that even till this date, people have existential crisis and they believe in the concepts shown in the film. The story of the movie follows the character of Neo, played by Mr. John Wick Keanu Reeves, who is also a person who keeps questioning his reality throughout the movie. But the truth of it is far beyond his imagination, until he meets Morpheus, who promises him to show the true reality of this world, which is nothing but a deception of an evil cyber-intelligent machine force. This movie has 2 more sequels which are fine, but none of them come closer to the first part. The visual effects of this film are something which even modern movies fail to beat. So impressive. Especially the Matrix code effect, which God knows was the screensaver for so many people in the early 2000s. And how can we talk about Matrix without talking about its action? I would not be wrong if I said the action scenes of the Matrix franchise are nothing but classic, with some of the scenes so bonkers and mind-blowing that it makes you wonder how did these people even pull this off 25 years ago with no technology at all. This film is probably the least scientifically accurate movie in this list because it is based on a conspiracy theory, but still it is at the top because it makes you believe. It makes you believe that this world is all fake and a simulation. I am not even going to get started on the fourth installment of this film, which was an attempt to reboot the franchise but failed miserably because of how bad it was. Overall, the original Matrix movie is a cult classic and a must-watch for science fiction lovers. And that's it for today's video. Comment down how many movies have you seen and make sure to drop a like for more videos. Till then, bye bye.